In 2004, Nintendo released Legends of Zelda: The Minish Cap, another rendition of everyone's favorite young warrior, Link. What makes this story special, though, is the fact that Link has been chosen as the hero of Hyrule, not because of him being in certain places and his relationship to other people, but simply because of the fact that he's a child. It was a key aspect to this whole story, is the fact that he is young enough to see the people who can actually accomplish the goal that needs to be done. What strikes me about this is typically when we look at kids, when we look at a younger generation, we don't see them as the heroes of today. And today on Geek Devotions, we're going to talk about what's wrong with that mindset. Hello, devoted geeks, and welcome to Geek Devotions, a show from devoted geeks who are devoted to letting you know you're loved. I'm Dalton. I'm so glad you've hit the play button today. If you're new to our show, we take geek pop culture items like movies, video games, comics, and we use them to let you know that you're loved. So if you don't watch past this moment, know this: we love you, we care about you. There is a plan and a purpose for your life. Do not give up. As I said in my intro, we are talking about The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, and if you're curious about my thoughts on it, I have a 1-minute review in the shorts here on YouTube and on other social media platforms. The short version is, it's a fun game, and I'm enjoying it, and if you have Nintendo Switch Online subscription, you have access to it too. Go play. It's a lot of fun. But the story is what's fascinating to me. The story itself is based around the fact that in Hyrule, there is a celebration they have on a yearly basis of when a group of individuals had given Hyrule a sword that sealed away an evil darkness. And they celebrate this by having a festival. And an enemy shows up one day to release this darkness, breaking the sword in the process. So young Link has to go on a journey to rebuild the sword. Why him specifically? Well, the sword was given by a series of miniature tiny people. The trick, though, is these people cannot be seen by adults, but only by children. So by default, he is the hero of today because of his youth and because he sees things literally differently than everyone else. This got me thinking about a lot of things, specifically though, the way that we see younger people, the way we see the young generation. Oftentimes when we look at young people, at Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and everything else, we go, well, they're the generation of tomorrow. They will have things to do later, but that's not the case. I believe this is an inappropriate way that we view young people. They are not the generation of tomorrow, but yet the generation of today. And God has something for them today to accomplish in amazing ways. Far too often we look at the younger generation and we say, look, there may be something for you down the road, but you need to be quiet and not do anything. I'm going to do everything, and not setting them up for a win. And in the process, we diminish them and speak down to them instead of building them up, encouraging them, seeing the giftings inside of them, and helping them to foster and to grow. I'm not saying we don't guide a younger generation, but we don't demean them and put them to the side at the same time. I think about the story of Paul and Timothy, and Paul sees young Timothy, and he sees something special about him. He sees that there's a lot of potential, and so he takes him under his wing to mentor him and to help him become the man of God that he becomes. To the point that he doesn't just put Timothy in a place to run a youth ministry or to be an associate pastor, but he literally runs an entire ministry, the church of an entire region. And Paul is encouraging Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12 with this: let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. Now, how old was Timothy? There's some conflicting reports. He wasn't a teenager at this point in time. Conservative estimate is somewhere between 20 and 30 something years old. So again, while not a child, he was still a young person in the eyes of society at the time. Paul knew the temptation was to look at this young man and see him as less than, and he was encouraging Timothy to not let that affect him, but rather he needed to work to be an example to the people around him in some major ways. In culture right now, we have something very fascinating happening in a college town. There is an awakening taking place that's marked by prayer and by confession and repentance. And I really believe that this is the embers that can lead to a legitimate revival here in our country and across the globe. What's amazing about this is that it was sparked by Gen Z, by young people who were simply seeking the Lord in a genuine fashion. And as it has grown, God has done some amazing things. But at the same time, there have been some people that have come to look at it and they have spoken disparaging about it. They have said, well, it's emotionalism, it's this and that, ignoring the fact that it is based on prayer and repentance. The way that God has created society, the way that he has built the church, is that there is this give that takes place. There is the zeal of the young that is matched with the experience of the elder, and they are supposed to work in tandem. There is zeal in this young generation in Gen Z that wants to do some amazing things, and it does take an older generation to come and say, dude, I am so excited. I am so proud of you. You are doing some fantastic stuff. Hey, let me help you walk this out. Let me help you see past this moment and see what this can become. Not robbing this from the younger generation, not taking what the generation has, but helping them to mature and grow. My encouragement for this devotion is twofold. One, to the older generation that's out there, we need to be speaking life into Gen Z. We need to see what's inside of them and help it foster, help it to grow. We need to not look down upon them as, the generation of tomorrow, and recognize them as the generation of today. Now, to the younger generation, to you Gen Z, and to the Gen Alpha that's out there. I am an elder millennial, if you will, and I remember being put down and being spoken poorly of. The generation before me, Gen X, had the same experiences. This is not new when people speak down to you, so I want to encourage you. I want to speak to you. Yes, there are people that have done some ignorant things in your generation, but that doesn't have to be you. I see those of you who are working hard to serve the Lord and to do right, to accomplish what God has called you to do, and I want you to know that I am so incredibly proud of you. You are doing fantastic and amazing work, and God has so much more for you than what you even see today. And I cannot wait to see what you do in the future. I want to encourage you, do not let people despise you because of your youth, but I want you to set an example to all believers as you walk this out, as you grow in your faith, an example in speech, how you speak to each other. Learn to speak with respect and care, not diminishing those who maybe are diminishing you. I want to encourage you to set an example to the believers in how you conduct your life, how you live in a holy and righteous way. Again, not in a superior manner, but in a, hey, this is how we're going to treat other people. I want to encourage you to set an example to the believers in how you love people, a holy and genuine love. Yes, there are biblical standards that we live out. At the same time, that doesn't mean that we put people down. We love people in a genuine way. I want to encourage you to set an example to the believers in your faith, how you live that out, your faith in Jesus's provision, your faith in your salvation, your faith to see God move and do amazing things. I want to encourage you and to set an example to the believers in purity. Live pure, live righteous, live out what God has for you in spirit and in truth. Well, guys, that is my devotion for you guys today. I hope we've encouraged you. I hope it's challenged you. Your question of the week is this. Tell us a story of an older person who has inspired you and encouraged you and how that helped you in your walk with God. Leave a comment down below and let us know what happened. Let that be a testimony that encourages other people who see this comment section. I want to take a moment to thank all of our devoted Patreon geeks who help support what we do here at Geek Devotions. Thanks to you guys, we're able to do what we do on a weekly basis. You help us with our website. You help us with our podcasts, our numerous podcasts that are out there. You help us to get the equipment and the supplies that we need to create these devotions on a weekly basis. We have been at this, guys, for almost 7 whole years. This is season 7 right now. And every Friday, there has been a devotion that comes out. In 7 years, we've not missed a single Friday of having taken the opportunity to encourage people to speak life, to speak hope, and to speak peace. And we are so thankful for our devoted Patreon geeks to help us to do that. If you would like to be a devoted Patreon geek, visit our website, geekdevotions.com, click the support page where you can find out how to give a one-time gift, be a devoted Patreon geek, or we have an Amazon wish list for helping us to get the supplies that we need to do better and to do more. Beyond that, I do want to do one more special thank you. I want to thank all the people who've spoken to Celeste and to I, who have encouraged us over the years, who saw us as young people who were passionate about the Lord and didn't discourage us, but equipped us and told us to keep going. Thank you guys so much. We would not be here without you. Finally, guys, make sure to check out our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look for Geek Devotions. Until next time, stay devoted. Peace and love.